Good afternoon and welcome to the first of the winning circles for the Concours year. And today we have the winning car for the pre-war preservation class, which is Class A. In the first instance, though, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Jeff Love. I'm the co-chair of the Concours Virtual. To my right is David Lillywhite. David Lillywhite is also co-chair, and Richard Charlesworth has joined us, and he was the chief judge of the class. So I hope you've enjoyed the class itself. We've had a lot of fun. And I think, Richard, as the chief judge, tell us a little bit about how the judging went on and how you enjoyed it.
Well, thanks, Jeff. No, we enjoyed it a lot. We had two good lineups. We had a great lineup of cars, first of all. We had 16 cars, all of which merited being part of this inaugural pre-war preservation class. Each of them was highly regarded by the judges, and it was a tough call to get our shortlist initially, and then to decide upon the top three, which we'll talk about in a second. But I just remind everybody as well that this was a proper gilt-edged panel of judges as well. We had Sandra Button, chairman of Pebble Beach. We had the Duke of Richmond, of course, of Goodwood fame. Wayne Carini, who's known around the world for his chasing cars and his classic car TV programme. Gregor Fiskin, great purveyor of exotic machinery through London. And Michael Haggerty, of course, from Haggerty Insurance, whose name is on the wall behind you, who, apart from setting up the Historic Vehicle Association in America, is a great judge of preservation classes as well. So we had a fantastically knowledgeable and enthusiastic lineup, but the judging was very straightforward. We had such great cars, we were spoilt for choice, but in the end, we all arrived at a very easy conclusion as to what was going to win it.
And what were the main criteria that the judges were using to base their decision on in this class?
Obviously the word preservation dictates a lot. We were able to call upon the expertise of Sandra Button in terms of Pebble Beach, because of course they brought in a preservation class in the early 90s to make sure that everybody wasn't encouraged to completely replace everything on their car to win important concours. So we were looking for a vehicle, a car that was as original as possible, where an obvious effort had been made, a huge effort had been made, and a huge investment made to keep bits and rework them rather than throw them away and replace them. There's nothing wrong with restoration at all, but once you've changed something, then it's no longer original. And what we did look for in the cars, and luckily we had a number of vehicles that tick the boxes in this, is originality, but of something that was still used and enjoyed by the owner and visible to the public as well.
Okay, and in terms of the judging, was it an outright clear winner, or was there some long discussions about some of the potential contenders?
There were discussions, but you'd be pleased to know there was no disagreements.
That's always good.
What we did effectively was we talked through the various cars. We looked at each car individually briefly. Each judge came up with a short list of 4 cars. Unsurprisingly, that shortlist didn't cover a huge number of cars, because everybody was of a similar mind, having discussed each vehicle independently. And then we basically decided upon which was in 4th place, and then effectively dismissed that from our final discussion, which left us with 3, 2 and 1.
Okay, so that sounds like a very reasonable way of coming to the...
No, it was, and I'd offered the opportunity to all of the judges that if there were more questions that needed to be asked of the owners of those cars, then I could channel those questions through. But luckily, given the breadth of knowledge and expertise on the judging panel, most of the cars and some of the owners were known, and so with the descriptions that we had as well supplied that are on your website, that was enough for us to make our decision. So it was a relatively straightforward and, as I say, a good-humoured and fascinating discussion to arrive at the top 3 and the winner. Okay,
great. Well, I think we ought to say thank you to Haggerty. You mentioned he was on the judging panel, and Haggerty are the presenting sponsor for the Concours Virtual, and also for this class. Immunage, who were our sponsors. So again, we thank those. The money for the Concours is going towards UNICEF and their great work at the moment in this difficult time for young children. So I think, thanks to Haggerty, thanks to Immunage. And so we probably now come to revealing the winners. And I know a lot of people who have been onto the website, they've been voting for their people's vote. So we have two really judging panels. We have the people's vote, and they've been voting over the last 7 days to come to their conclusion. And then we have the judges' vote, which Richard has been talking about. And as you say, Richard, an amazing array of judges there, which would grace any Concours lawn with their authority. So, David, would you like to announce the runners-up and the winning judge for the People's Award first?
Certainly will. This is one of the most interesting classes, really, and the stories are incredible. So we attracted hundreds of votes for the People's Vote. In third place, 1927 Bentley Le Mans 3 litre. In second place, we have the 1893 Salverson Steam Wagonette. And in first place, in the People's Vote, we have the 1932 Bentley 8 litre H.J. Mulliner bodied saloon. So congratulations to all three. Absolutely amazing choices.
And that's quite a broad spread as well, isn't it, of cars across those three?
It really is. And when you read the stories of how they've actually survived this long, it's astonishing. And I would encourage anyone to, if they haven't read them already, get onto the site and have a read of those stories. It's brilliant.
No, good. And so to the main event, really, in inaugural Concours Virtual, Class A, the third place in the judge's opinion was?
The third place car, a very popular car, hugely respected, hugely admired, was the 1933 Duesenberg Model SJ Speedster.
Yeah, that's a fabulous car, isn't it? Really, really well worth its position in the winner's circle there.
Definitely, it's a concourse winning car anyway. It was hugely popular. And again, the fact that it has changed so little over the years, which is down to the ownership, actually. It's been owned by people who value and wish to preserve its authenticity and originality. So it is lucky as a car that it's had owners that want to keep it original.
And very rare to see a Duesenberg which has not been restored.
Yeah, no, it's a great car, and it's been at Pebble Beach, greatly admired there. So it was a very popular car as far as the judges were concerned, but got third place because two others just edged ahead of it. Okay,
and that leads us to the runner-up in the pre-war preservation class.
The runner-up in the pre-war preservation class, as a ex-Bentley boy, I was delighted to see the public voted for a couple of Bentleys, and the runner-up in the, as far as the judges were concerned, was the 1932 8-litre Vanden Plas Tourer, known popularly as the Captain Hewitt car. Very, very special 8-litre Bentley from 1932.
That's a fantastic car, wasn't it? Yeah, really, really enjoyed seeing that in the Concours, actually.
Yeah, again, it's lucky that it's had owners that have wanted to preserve it. So easy to change it, but because it was a unique car, it is a unique car. It's the only car built to be a Le Mans racer by Vanden Plas. So it's a very special car, great history, and a deserved second place or runner-up in the preservation class.
Great. It feels now like we should have a drum roll as we head towards the first place in the class. So, Richard, unveil who won the first place in the inaugural pre-war preservation class.
I am delighted. This was a very popular vote with the judges. This to us is what the pre-war preservation is all about. The question is which war, because this particular car is several wars in recent times, because the winner of the pre-war preservation class was the 1893 Salverson Steam Wagonette.
Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it? Such a fabulous car. And we have actually we have Duncan Pittaway, who is the owner and curator of the Steam Wagonette to join us. So welcome, Duncan.
Jeff, well, thank you. Thank you very much, Charles. I am astounded. I'm honoured and astounded and delighted. Didn't expect that at all. I have to say, the 8-litre Bentley HJ Mullin Saloon was probably my favourite out of the competition. But to be chosen by such esteemed judges to be the best of the class, I'm just speechless. So fabulous. Thank you very much.
No, thoroughly well deserved. I think David might have a couple of questions about your ownership and your experience with the car.
Well, I feel very lucky to have it. I fell in love with the car 20 years ago when it was first sold to the Milligan collection by Bollins to the Milligan collection, and I feel I'm the luckiest man on the planet to have the car. It's for somebody like me who's known for possibly faster cars and probably sort of later cars. My roots are very much in the Victorian era. My father had Victorian cars, so to me it's like a dream come true to have the machine, and I really respect how old it is and how well it's been preserved. And I think to have that recognition by your judges is very touching.
I've seen you literally steaming past me, Duncan, on the London to Brighton. In fact, once when I was broken down by the side of the road, so thanks. Tell me, what's it like to be stood on the back of that for all that time?
Well, I'm very lucky. My wife drives it because you need 3 people to drive it. I very much enjoy running the engine, being the fireman. Initially, you have to get over the intimidation of standing next to a boiler with 160 psi in it that is 127 years old. But once you get used to that, it's a charming machine, and I think you get an insight into why people fall in love with steam as a means of power. It's very much like electricity, electric cars today. It has that very soft but very high torque potential to it, and the way it drives, the way it delivers that power is just charming. And I think the most endearing thing is actually the iron tires. There are very few iron tired machines these days, and when you travel down the road, the noise is unique, I think.
That's definitely one way of putting it.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Duncan, for entering the car in the first place. I mean, it was a pleasure to see such a well-preserved and beautiful car. And I think, as we all agree, to win in such an esteemed class with such a great jury as well, it's high praise indeed, but thoroughly deserved. So thank you very much. Thank you, Richard, and the judging panel. Thank you, David. And I hope you continue to enjoy the Concours. Keep coming back. There's more classes being released every couple of days. There's more judges as well. So please continue to vote and enjoy the Concours. And please give money to UNICEF. Thank you very much.